If you're ready to shift from surviving to thriving, these transformation journals are your sacred starting point. From my soul purpose journal to the power of attraction, broken to healing, my destiny, and more, each one is crafted to guide you through reflection, clarity, and emotional renewal. Whether you're seeking alignment, healing, or a deeper connection to your path, there's a journal here that speaks your language.
Gift one to yourself or someone whose spirit could use a gentle nudge toward transformation. Just scan the QR code at the end and begin the journey. Your next chapter is waiting.
Welcome to the conversation with your host, Mary Moden.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the conversation, friends. I'm so excited and I'm so happy to be back with you. I want you to know I miss you guys so very much. And as I always do and say, I want to give you and show you some love right back at you, friends, because you mean just that much to me. Now, I'm not really certain where this conversation may lead tonight and where I may go with it, but I do want to start off with what I generally focus on. Now, if you all here for the first time, I'm all about taking back control of your thoughts, the way that you think. I need you to start observing your thoughts. Don't just sit idly by and let things come in and out of your mind because thoughts are always creating things. And so, if you want good things to show up in your life, then it is important that you guard your thoughts and that you create the thoughts to see the things you want to see in your life. Okay? Now, but to those of you all who know my voice, to my tribe out there who know my message, thank you all for coming back. And thank you, thank you. So, with that being said, friends, are you all aware that we think over 6,000 thoughts per day? Imagine that. We think automatically more than 6,000 thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts, as you might imagine, are negative thoughts. But did you know 80% of that 6,000 are negative thoughts? And even more damaging than that, 95% are repetitive negative thoughts. So we're talking about 6,000 thoughts per day. And out of that 6,000, 80% are negative, and then they are on repeat 95% of the time. Now, as you know, friends, I call myself a farmer. And you know what? We need more farmers in the field, more farmers to encourage somebody out there. With 6,000 thoughts per day per person, 80% of it are negative thoughts. That's a lot of hurting people. That's a lot of people with a lot of doom and gloom. And I know that personally. I was one of those person. And sometime I'm still one of those person. I remember not that distant long ago in my life, friends, when I was going through my divorce, and I would never forget this. I went home and I was talking with my mother. And I don't know, for whatever reason, when you're a young person, we just can't conceive the fact that our parents have any idea where we're coming from. And now I too have children, and I'm hoping I have created a bridge whereby they know that I know where they're coming from, and I talk often so that hopefully they will understand where I'm coming from. But in any case, when I was going through my divorce, I was explaining, I was trying to explain to my mother, and I just didn't think she understood. I was I was thinking from that 80% percentile, that 80% of negativity. I was talking from that part of my thoughts. But she wasn't having it. And the more she was resisting what I was trying to explain to her, the more aggravated and upset I became. My emotions were everywhere. But it seemingly, my emotions did not sway her from her message to me. You see, I didn't think that my mother understood that not only was I going through a divorce, but I saw, this is where I saw myself, friends. I also had a child, and it was a girl child. Now here I am, single with a child. And I remember thinking, who gonna want me with a child? And plus, how how can I ever meet somebody working working like I do and with a child? Now, remember I told you all I was speaking at that time from that 80 percentile, that negative, which is where most of us live. You see, I was down in the darkness where there was no way out. Thank goodness my mother wasn't having no part in my darkness. Thank goodness she was a farmer planting seeds of life into my darkness, speaking life to me, encouraging me to pick up and get up. Stop looking down on yourself. Stop thinking nobody would want you. And now my mother didn't go to college. And I'm a college graduate in the field of psychology. One would think in graduating from psychology, I would know, I would have better sense. But let me tell you, sense and emotions, see, emotions and your thoughts override all of that. When our thoughts take control of us, and it contaminate everything. It contaminates your emotions, and when you are locked in like that, you can see no way out but darkness. The only thing you see is doom and gloom. Somebody out there know what I'm talking about. Thank goodness She wasn't having any part of that. Thank goodness she spoke life into my life. And you see, friends, that's what I want to do. I want to speak life into your life. Somebody who's out there, who's listening. I mean, you're going through something right now. I know it from the data. The data tells me we think 6,000 thoughts per day. The data tells me 80% of it is negative. The data tells me 95% of it is repetitive. Somebody out there need to know, listen to me real good here. Things are not as bad as you think that they are. And let's suppose that they are. If you don't give up, if you get the information, the counseling, the help, if you would allow yourself to be open to receive. See, part of my problem then, I wasn't open to receive what my mother was saying because my thoughts were so thick, my emotions was everywhere. I wasn't allowing anything to come in. Friend, I know where you are. I know that feeling. Be open to receive. No, it's not a miracle pill. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not here to tell you some stuff like that. I respect you too much to tell you something like that. But if you're open and if you're willing to do the work of observing your thoughts, guard your thoughts, forgive yourself. That's a big one. Be loving and kind to yourself. And sometimes you have to stop and come apart from others before you come apart. And see, when we're going through things, a lot of us, we're still trying to be that same person and we're bleeding all over the place. You really need to be in the emergency room. You're so broken up. But there you are out there trying to give to someone else and you're totally on empty. You need to be in the emergency room. Be open. Superman was not real. See, we are human. And this pain that we have, you see, when your parents had pain, when your mother had pain and your father had pain, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your auntie, the teacher, your neighbor, when they had pain, maybe they didn't know how to cope and deal with the pain they had, so they dealt with it the best way they knew how. And during their experience in life, perhaps you were around when they were experiencing their challenges in life. And and maybe, just maybe you learn from their experience and you integrated it into your own experience. But now this part in your life, you find yourself stuck. Be open, friend. Be open to be unstuck. Be open to receive so that you can become unstuck. This was the conversation. Thank you for tuning in. I know, when I get off, I'm gonna feel as if I wish I had said so much more. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it right here, right there. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And also, please listen to the video I created just for you, friends. Thank y'all so much. Yes. And I will see you all next time. So good night, good day, and we will be back together real soon. Open to receive. What if the very thoughts we cling to aren't ours at all? What if the ideals that shape us were placed there not to help us grow, but to keep us contained? Tonight, I invite you to do something bold. I dare say even sacred. Let go. Let go of beliefs that were never born in your spirit. Let go of thoughts programmed to keep you small, to keep you doubting, to keep you running in circles. We were never meant to just survive. We were made to expand, to heal, to evolve. And that evolution begins with a choice to become open. Open to the possibility that there's more within you than you've been taught to see. Open to the whispers of purpose that don't come from outside approval, but from deep within your soul. Your destiny isn't out there waiting to be found. It's in here. It's inside you. And it's patiently waiting to be welcomed. Every passion, every dream, every moment of resistance. It's all been there trying to lead you back home to the truth of who you are. A vessel of greatness, a spark of divine intelligence, a soul with purpose, power, and potential. So as you listen to these words, I ask you to let go of what they told you. Open your heart to what you know deep inside. Your destiny has been calling. Not when you're perfect, not when you're ready, but now. And it's only asking, will you receive it?
Be inspired. There's a spiritual solution to every problem. My soul purpose, my destiny. It's possible. These journals and more are now available on Amazon.